안녕하세요. This will be a presentation in Korean. Just kidding, I wish. So, how many of you are thinking about starting a crypto project? Show of hands. Come on, more than that. Working on a crypto project, doing something to a crypto project. All right, that's what I thought. A very smart friend of mine that I think you heard from earlier, Eva Balin, once tweeted something that I loved, that I quote all the time, which is that there's building and there's trading and everything else is marketing. And that quote is in my book and I've taken it to heart and it's true. And so might as well learn how to bring projects to market the Web3 way, because we're all trying to do something here to a crypto project. So I started working in the space in 2015, started contributing around the Ethereum ecosystem, ended up as the first chief marketing officer at Consensus, which enabled me to play a role in bringing Ethereum to market, building the first Web3 marketing team that brought to market things like MetaMask, Infura, Truffle, Gitcoin, and the Consensus brand, and also 1,000 other things, some of which worked, some of which didn't work, but that enabled us to do a bunch of pattern matching about how to go to market in this new decentralized way. I'm going to start with a series of tweets from Chris Dixon. So he runs crypto at A16Z, and he tweets, Web2 is built on advertising. Big companies like Facebook and Google make most of their money on advertising, and many Web2 startups build their customer base using advertising. When you build a business on advertising, the theory is if you retain enough customers, the long-term economics will work out and you'll eventually be profitable. Web3 takes a different approach by letting users and builders participate in the growth of the network as genuine owners. That means you no longer need advertising. Tokens are self-marketing. When someone genuinely owns something and feels skin in the game, they want to evangelize it. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about the marketing protocol, how Web3 changes the game, like what Chris Dixon just wrote, building Web3 community, and some of our recurring themes throughout this are aligning incentives, solving the 0 to 1 problem, and how to get product market fit. So these are some marketing fundamentals that are true regardless of whether you're working in Web 2 or Web 3. They were even true before the internet, which is you start by knowing your product. What is it that I'm actually bringing to market? Know your audience. Who is this serving? Who is going to actually get some benefit from using this? 3, identify audience channels. Okay, where does my audience live? What does their attention and awareness knock up against? Then defining your key message. What about my product actually is going to resonate with my audience? That's your key message. And then build a marketing funnel. What on earth is a marketing funnel? Oh goodness, it's this. So you start with discovery. Discovery is the moment where someone encounters your brand or your project for the first time. Then clickety-click, you've gotten them to engage with your project. Engagement is basically a contract between you and the potential user that is them allowing you to contact them again. Maybe they've signed up for something, maybe they've followed you on an account. Then you want to convert your engaged audience to using your product. Maybe then you connect your wallet, maybe you stake, maybe you swap, you take an action. And then once you have users, you're not done. You want to retain those users and keep them coming back for more. And you can actually send people from the bottom back up through the top through referral programs and use retained existing users to drive even more discovery. And then measure effectiveness. So along each of the different catalysts along that funnel, you want to set up analytics to make sure that it's actually converting people from one step to the next in order to understand, is part of my funnel broken? Is there something I need to optimize? Is there something missing? Because people can get stuck at one of the stages in the funnel, and it's really important to understand where the break is and fix it. So those are the marketing fundamentals. Those have existed even before the web. So let's add Web3 to that. What is Web3? For our purposes, Web3 is a set of tools for building incentive-aligned communities. And what's an incentive-aligned community? It's a group of people that can make a project self-marketing, which lets it actually reach more scale more efficiently. If you think about a CPG company or a Web2 company, every time they want to grow and scale, they have to spend money. They have to arbitrage dollars on Google ads or on one of the Meta business suite. But here we can actually incentivize people with skin in the game from the ground up through extrinsic and intrinsic rewards and alignment to go out and help grow our project. So marketing in Web3 is a bit different from Web2. So it starts with building a system. So shared values, interests, incentives, and goals. Then is solving the 0 to 1 problem. So how do you actually have people discover your project, engage with it, and plug into that incentive system? And then decentralization. Ideally, you aren't running a crypto project with a giant centralized full-time employee marketing department till the end of time. Ideally, you're decentralizing those functions over time, like your code base, to your community. So how do you start building that? You want to try to probe for product market fit, and you want to do that with the people that are closest to you, people you talk to every day that you can get to know, that are in your target audience group, and refine and expand outwards. The first people you need to convince are your early evangelists, and they're probably people you already personally, one-to-one, unscalably know and can have a conversation with. Then you move outward from your number one fans. We get a lot of clients at Serotonin that talk about going global, going mainstream, but they haven't actually convinced their uncle and their aunt and their dog, proverbially speaking. They haven't actually convinced the people closest to them about what they want to use and to get excited about the product. So that's how you solve the cold start problem with your early evangelists. The first question to ask when you're starting a new project and you're encountering that cold start problem, how do I go from 0 to 1? Is it really a cold start? Probably if you had the idea for a project in the first place, it was steeped in some community that you're part of where you learned that that's a real problem that people have. Reach out to the evangelists, the early evangelists you know, the people closest to you that are in your network. They can help you refine the message and bring it to the next concentric circle, wider group of people. The second strategy that we use a lot is organic influencer marketing. Most projects, by the time they're funded, by the time they're off the ground, have some people in their network that have some kind of following that are intrinsically or extrinsically aligned with the success of that project. And it's just about being organized. It's not about spending money. It's about organizing those people so that you can leverage them repeatably to help amplify the project when it does something or when it has news. A lot of projects, even mature ones, are leaving potential distribution on the table by not getting organized about their own organic influencers that are just waiting in the wings to get to come out and start promoting their project. Then your role as a marketer is as a facilitator, blowing oxygen on the sparks that are naturally occurring in your community. You don't have to come up with all the good ideas as a Web3 project marketer. What you should do, and this is what we did in early Ethereum, we looked around the world and we saw a bunch of people like Erica here in Seoul wanted to be meetup organizers. They were raising their hands saying, I want to run an Ethereum meetup in my city, in my country. And what we saw our role as doing was facilitating and helping organize the organizers and get them resources and networked and connected with each other and make sure there was constantly roving content coming through all the global meetup groups so that people could learn about new projects and projects could get feedback. We did not run every meetup group. We did not come up with all the good ideas. Instead, we helped create a nerve network. You can do this in your community, watch and see what your community does naturally, all by themselves, and then facilitate and blow oxygen on those sparks. And then to grow and to start out, you can use Web3 native strategies. Everything that happens on chain. So onchain is the best CRM, customer relations management software known to humankind. You can see every single wallet that's ever interacted with the project. So if there's a type of Web3 user, maybe they've participated in a different project, maybe they've done a certain behavior with a token, you can actually retarget them on chain with a claimable or an airdrop that's available to precisely the wallets that did the action you care about. And that's basically instant community formation. What an incredible marketing tool Web3 is. So community is obviously a word we hear about all the time. It's one we've used a lot in this presentation. And I think in Web3, it actually means something really concrete, which is that incentive-aligned group that works together toward the success of a project. And it collapses these categories of builder, investor, and user that in a Web2 context are really separate from each other and can even have adversarial incentives toward each other. And so ideally in Web3 community, what we're doing is collapsing those three groups into a single incentive-aligned core. And it really matters, especially early on in a project, who you bring into your community. We often use an analogy at Serotonin that think of your community like this. Imagine some aliens came on a spaceship from outer space. They put down a ladder somewhere on planet Earth, and some humans walk up that ladder. They get on the spaceship flies away, and then the aliens are stuck with those humans colonizing their new planet forever. Those are the ones they picked. Your early community members are going to be formative because other people will see them and the kind of content they're creating and what the tone of their behavior is when they're deciding whether to join that community or not. So early on, when you're just starting your project, is the time you have the most control as the project lead to invite the kinds of people into your community that are really going to want to contribute. So definitely be smart about that. I wrote a book that came out last year that I would love to invite you guys to read if this is something that interests you. After 4 years at Consensus, which I spoke about, I started a company called Serotonin, now about 3.5 years old. It's the largest Web3 native marketing firm. We do all kinds of marketing, strategy, PR, content, social, community, events, growth marketing, KOLs. We work with a lot of the leading projects in this space. You can check out the company at serotonin.co. And basically, I was asked to put some of my thoughts about how to bring Web3 projects to market and some of the story of bringing Ethereum to market into a book. So it came out in April last year. There's also an NFT community for everyone that buys the first edition of the book. The first edition is still in print. Every edition has a unique code that you can use to claim an NFT that gets you membership to a token-gated Telegram with a whole bunch of other marketing professionals, crypto enthusiasts, project leads in the space that are on that channel talking about the best strategies of the moment in Web3 marketing. So it's a really great community. It's another awesome property of Web3 in that as a content creator, you don't just have this one-to-one relationship with your readers. Everyone has a relationship with each other because they're brought together onto a channel. So it's a really special place. And I'd love to invite you all to be part of it. This is how to get in touch. Serotonin.co, Amanda Claire, Amanda.eth, Serotonin headquarters. We also have a product that's in beta that I would love to invite all of you to apply for. We've created a Serotonin platform that brings together builders, investors, and media in the space and connects them with basically an open source version of a lot of the resources and data that we've accumulated over the years at Serotonin. So would love to have you all be part of that and join us and come meet the team. Thanks so much, everybody.